heart is a balloon, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away. You're on the road, but you've got no destination. You're in the mud, in the maze of her imagination. Your love is down, even if that doesn't ring true. You've been all over, and it's been all over you. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Touch me, take me to that other place. Teach me, I know I'm not a hopeless case. See the world in green and blue. See China right in front of you. See the canyons broken by cloud. See the tuna fleets clearing the sea out. See the bedroom fires at night. See the oil fields at first light. And see the bird with a leaf in her mouth. After the flood, all the colors came out. It was a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. Beautiful day. Touch me, take me to that other place.
So, hello and welcome to the pit lane after a chaotic last practice session here in Watkins Glen. We had 3 red flags in the end after 60 minutes of running. We had a late red flag caused by a crash. We had circuit change during the session, and we had planned circuit changes. We had everything. We had a lap record as well, which we'll go through the times in a second. A lap record, as I said, from Max de Jong, the championship leader, an 04.35 and Meek in the Koenigsegg, and Elias, the lap record holder from Friday, from the first practice session, can't match his lap record and slots into P3. Jesus' first session this weekend, P4 for the McLaren driver. Dambo gets into 5th place, sorry, his best session of the weekend. Taki, his only session of the weekend so far, goes into 6th place. Alliance, his first session in ICRO ever, is just off the pace in P7, and then Epic Saber, the second of the championship, only P8. But the field is tight, 2 seconds between second or last to first. And the 2 Neskovics has joined after the session, so he can count, and Ninja Paint Noodles is not a driver and joined. So a few drives out on track at the moment. 3 in total: Dambo, Neskovic, and Dambo and Miki having a battle into turn 1 as they do this. Into turn 1, Dambo goes very deep into turn 1, not getting the car turned in, and goes all the way out to the outside barrier there. So still no real or big crash. There's a big crash for Meek there. Big spin for the Koenigsegg through the Eau Rouge. So Neskovic's in the Dodge in Max de Jong's championship leading car at the moment. Still 3 rounds to go, so the championship is nowhere near finished, as the championship top 3 are only separated by 2 checks, 50 points per race per win. That kind of did get announced as well. We'll go through the championship now. So leading the championship is Max de Jong by just over 20 points ahead of Epic Saber. Meek only just over a race winner behind, so the championship is still to play for, or just over half a race win actually. And then the championship fight for 4th place between Taki, Is, Jesus, Elias, and maybe Moritz from 4th to 8th. Holding up the gap between them is only 80 points, so that still could be a big talking point in the last 3 races of the season, because there is a sprint at the end of the season in the last round of the season, so Moritz can still catch up to 4th, but we'll need a lot of good luck for that to happen. So there's been a announcement from the FIA about 10 minutes into the session. We haven't noticed or mentioned it. There's going to be a new facilities and factory system for ICRL. Factories and facilities will consist of 5 levels. Each upgrade will cost money. Staff facility will result in more reserve staff slots, maximum 2 engineers per team. For factory upgrade, it will result in more decreasing maintenance cost of cars and decreasing in case of a terminal crash or flipping or disconnecting on track. For economy facility, upgrading it will result in more money for the start of the season championship money. Also, there'll be a cost of signing drivers or staff. As well, I believe there's been an incident that so there has been an incident. We don't know if this is going to come of it. Game of Fire is being under investigation in the McLaren. He's under investigation for taking out Dambo and almost taking out Mitch. As well, the new calendar for season 4 also out. So, yeah, so he's home with McLaren about half an hour ago, so that's been announced by the McLaren team. So the new calendar for next season will be, I'm going to check. So the round 1 will be in St. Petersburg. The street circuit will host the season open for the first time this season. Round 2 will be in Phoenix after a chaotic race with 5 red flags last season. And then we'll come Indy road course with no sector 3. So it'll be cutting off the final chicane section. That will be a sprint race as well. Pocono. We had Pocono a few weeks ago, and it was probably the most chaotic race of the season with Epic Saber, Max de Jong and Moritz Bremer coming together. And the two championship protagonists, the only time they came together this season. And then the other track they came together, actually not the only time, the other track they came together, and we're here right now in Watkins Glen. It will have a sprint race for round 5. Atlanta, after backlash last season, even though it returns to the calendar for season 4, we'll see if the same complaints come out of that race. Then comes another race in Indy road course with the normal layout, and Portland will be round 8, the 49th race of ICRL, and the 50th race is the Indianapolis 200. 100 laps of the Indianapolis circuit. Texas Motor Speedway will host round 10, then with no chicane it will be Watkins Glen again. Gateway will have round 12, and then Portland with no first chicane, and it will be a sprint race. And rounding off the season will be Pocono. So we've got a lot of things to go through this weekend. We've got BIFR action in about 45 minutes time. We'll go live to the circuit in about 40 minutes time. Before the, I don't know what round it is, round 8 or so, in New Zealand. As well, after this we have a lot of sessions in the next hour, so we'll have a lot of choices for you to, let's say, choose from. Yes, that's probably the best thing to do. So yeah, BIFR normally starts at a 1300 time, which is UK time. Now it starts to a 1400 time, so a bit of a, not really inconvenience, a bit of a change in time. Don't know the reasoning, but that will soon be revealed, hopefully. As well, we have the Pocono NICL sprint race and the Spain WDRL qualifying, which you won't stream, but that will be having updates. Then we'll have the United States Grand Prix in ERL and the Australian Grand Prix in NIFL. Then we'll have the open commentary session, the Pocono Grand Prix, or the Pocono 150 in NICL from 1700 to 1800 UK time. Then we'll have the NIFC British Grand Prix from 20 past 6. Tomorrow we'll have the New Zealand Grand Prix in BIFR and the New Zealand Grand Prix in IRFL. Then we'll have the WDRL Spanish Grand Prix and the NIFL Australian Grand Prix, and we have an all-iron day tomorrow, with the British Grand Prix ending off the day at 5:30. Mitch was doing laps around the track, but got out of the car. So we've got a lot of things to go through. BIFR, we'll go through now because we've got that next. After the, after this, we'll have the BIFR New Zealand Grand Prix qualifying. The second round we'll have in the Ion 23 cars. We haven't really got a sign of what actually is happening, or what is the pace in the new cars. So the weather for the session will be cloudy but a bit of sun. That's for the session, but there's a low rain chance. There could be some rain. We'll see if that comes to fruition. So the championship order at the moment, leading the championship is still Leonard, but his points lead has been deducted, or not deducted, has been halved. Well, not halved, but a bit less. But it's been cut. Better word. So, in the championship after that, let me have a look. In P2 was Baldwin King was driving for Red Bull last weekend, but it's on the leaderboard a reserve driver, but goes up 5 places off to get P2 last weekend. Perez third for Aston Martin, loses a place after crashing in the opening few laps. Jaden for Alpine, good result for the Alpine team in that race. Then Barley left the server a few months ago now, because after Qatar, Spectre in the Mercedes, 6th in the championship after getting pole in Texas a few weeks ago and then crashing on the first lap. H4M4 in 7th place in the World Championship, losing 2 places because he crashed in the first few laps as well. Rilzeo and the Ferrari gaining 2 places in the championship, getting close to both H4M4 and Spectre in the Ferrari. Beppy's lost a place in the World Championship after Rilzeo's P5, I believe it was. The official Mikey up 7 places after winning, I believe, last weekend. I'm not good. I don't remember. Is Makov in the Red Bull 11th in the championship. The Constructors' Championship still is with Alpine, but the gap has also been halved again, but the gap is still 50 points. So it's going to be a hard ask for Mercedes or Aston Martin to catch up, only if they get a good race today or tomorrow, actually. Williams 4th in the championship and Red Bull 5th, both with one driver. Then comes McLaren and Haas. Alfa Romeo still last in the championship, really did last in the championship. They've lost so many points in the last few races, especially, that they haven't got a point actually since they haven't got a point since NYC, which was a long time ago, it feels like. So to NICO action, for the FIA announcing the track is going to be the Pocono 150, that sprint starting in 40 minutes. And the news is, Ferrari first and third in qualifying after a very good result for the Scuderia. There's also, they're saying we shouldn't have sessions next weekend, so there won't be a session next weekend in NICL. So it's going to have a week break for the first time in NICL this season. And also, nothing. Yeah, we'll look at the constructors in ICRL now, because we haven't looked at that yet. So still leading is Dodge. Oh no, we're leading. Ferrari's leading good. We're leading. Yay. By 13 points ahead of Dodge, and then about 300 points back to McLaren and Koenigsegg. So it's now a straight fight between Dodge and Ferrari. Rather well for AlphaTauri, 0 points still. Haas, after being tipped to fight for P3, only P9 in the World Championship. Porsche has made strides in the last few races. Well, not even the last few races, in the mid-season, but now they've dropped off in the last few races. Only 30 points in the last 3. Honda P7 off the Bath Destroyer got ahead of Porsche in the World Championship, and Tag Heuer Renault, another team, tipped to fight for third in the World Championship, or the Constructors' Championship, P6, behind Toyota by about 100 points. Then comes Koenigsegg being caught by Toyota, and then they're catching McLaren SP Audi, and then 300 points ahead are the two front runners, Dodge and Ferrari. We saw last race in Indy RC on Indian 200 that teams are working together. I didn't expect. The NICL Championship now is leading the World Championship. It's still Elias, and he is 32 points ahead of Noob Gang, and then another 52 ahead of Taki, and 57 ahead of Max after not attending 3 races in a row. Then Moritz, after winning in Indy RT a few weeks ago, 45 points for him. ISP 6th in the championship after getting a podium 2 podiums in 3 races. Epic Saber after winning last time out in Watkins Glen, and Danny got 2 finishes. Rowan has had a finish in the first race of the season, and Noah's had 1 finish in the Renault. And then Axel, Fenris, and Haxie have not competed in a race. And the constructors' order, Toyota still strengthening their lead, or they were before Williams came in, and now are consistently fighting. But Ferrari only 46 points behind. It could be a fight to the finish. They're just over a race win or race weekend behind Toyota Gazoo. So if Toyota Elias and I'd have a bad weekend, Ferrari could take the World Championship, or Williams. It really depends what Morris and Newgang can do. 4 for Audi. Max de Jong and Taki drove for them before Max left the team, and Taki's still there. And then comes Braun, where Newgang and Morris were driving before they left to Williams. And then Red Bull Energy after Rowan's got some points for them in the first race of the season in Phoenix, and then in last place in the last place of the team that scored points. Actually, no, it isn't last. Renault 6 points, and then McLaren pole position for Fenris got him 1 point. Let's look at more stuff because we've gone through a lot of stuff now, and why not go through more?
2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
So the WDRL standings we'll look at now. So the Drivers' Championship when I find it. Yeah, there's the standings. So the World Championship order at the moment: V6 leads ahead of Barley, and then Romza, Dennis, Meeks, and Dom, Poke, Mahir, ASM, Samu, Jaden, Rose, Chris, Pi, Mikey, Thea, and Butter. The constructors' order is as follows: Ferrari lead the World Championship by 16 points after winning 4 of the 7 races we've had this season. Mercedes in second in the championship, about 17 points, is 17 points behind, and then almost 100 points behind. McLaren in third, and Alpine, Haas, and Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri, and actually Williams and Rotus all in their own fight. And then Red Bull languishing at the back after only getting 15 points in the first race in Australia. IRFL standings. This race weekend is the Grand Prix of New Zealand. The first race, the leading championship, is Alfa Romeo after Dragon and Stealthy got a lot of points in the last few races. They've been consistent through the whole season, but Haas didn't get any points in the first 2 races. If them races didn't count, they would be only 7 points behind Alfa Romeo. Mercedes and McLaren and Aston Martin within 9 points of each other. Williams 20 points behind them, and then AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and Alpine within 9 points of each other, and then Red Bull 8 points behind AlphaTauri. After only getting 6 points in Britain. Then we'll go through the what standings we got. NIC standings. So the driver standings after last weekend, which was a crazy race, let's say. The leaders crashing 3 times in the race. In the end, Ninja leads the championship after getting P2 ahead of Kiwi, who jumps up to 2nd place. Both set 3rd and 4th in the championship crash. Dennis and Jesco, and Mikey got the fastest after the race on the last lap. Get 13 points and goes into 5th in the championship and gains 2 positions. Then comes Vegas after retiring because of a literally car failure. There had no tyres on the car at the start of the race. And after that, behind Vegas is Mekaluka, Lena, and Matrix, and Poke, Luca, Rozek, Farid, Geo, Mark, Simu, Beluga, Friend, Dark, Max, Laka, Potato, Samu, Magnala, Josh, and Will were the only point scorers. There's still a lot of drivers that haven't scored points, but Yes. So, in the Constructors' Championship, the other McLaren leads, even though they had one of the drivers crash, still in the lead of the championship, but it hasn't been updated since the last race, so it's about this. And then Haas P2, AlphaTauri P3, Alpine P4, Ferrari P5, Aston Martin P6, Williams P7, Red Bull P8, P9 for Alfa Romeo, and P10 for Mercedes. And IFL, the second race of the season, or the first race of the season, is this weekend. So there's no championship order in that. ERL championship order now. The Constructors' Championship, Ferrari lead by 23 points ahead of Haas, Williams, Alfa Romeo, Mercedes, and Aston Martin, and the only point scorers. Game for Live leads the championship by 7 points ahead of Neskovic and Turk. Afro Creepers is Heaven, Victory Marius, Milk, Poco, Seabant, Time War, Foot, Greg Ball didn't finish race. And that looks like everything's done finally. Yay. All the championships are done, so that's our preview. Half an hour of me previewing every championship we want. So, thank you for joining us on this, and we'll see you in the next time.